Welcome to Love Always Self, a podcast about connection to self, reflections of self, and how this impacts our reality.
We're all about trying to find balance, discovering tools for spiritual wellness, and creating a safe place to have loving conversations about a broad range of topics.
I'm Karista, an energy healer with a background in Reiki, nursing, health coaching, and personal training. I have a holistic mindset and believe that everyone and everything can work together in harmony so that we can create more balanced life experiences.
And I'm Shira, a spiritual intuitive and explorer of personal truth with a background in management and finance. I feel we are all connected and guided by our own spiritual team, whom I refer to as Mount Glass, and I want to help teach you how to connect with yours.
We believe we're all connected, and by learning to love self, we will elevate the collective consciousness and learn to create deeper connections with each other, self, and source. As we grow and learn through our own life adventures and self-discoveries, we hope you gain insights into your own truth.
Don't forget to subscribe to stay notified of new content, and we hope you enjoy the show. Okay. Yeah. Anyway. So, I don't know. I feel like, whenever we're going through this, and I don't even want to say it to the point, Carrie, where it's like, this is only happening for like a split minute of time, right? Like, it's not like that. This is a continuation. This is something that once these like doors are opening for you to just barely take a step towards it, even if you don't want to step all the way through, you're moving, we collectively, this planet, every being on this planet is just, and this is how they just show it to me, right? This is the mental image that I get, is just like this two French doors, and that might be the home the home improvement stuff that I watch all the time. This is how they would communicate with me because they know I like it, right? So like these two double French doors opening, and beyond that is something you didn't even know was possible. Beyond that is
You had no idea it was there.
You had no idea it was there, or you just forgot. So now you're either receiving little trinkets of memory, and you're like, I'm curious. Can I do that? Can I do that? Do I have the ability that so many others have these special gifts? Which is why I don't like calling them gifts. But like, so many people have these special gifts, and but maybe, I've always felt that, no, I'm not special like that. I don't have that ability whatsoever. And now it's turning into more of a, well, shit, all these other people have this. Like, it seems to be increasing.
It's like the doors to the secret garden open, and then all of a sudden the mosquito net falls down, and you're like, oh, poof, it's gone. I don't see it anymore. Was it even there?
Goodbye, veil. So I don't remember that being there. That's weird, because that's what we'll do looking back at this time, like years from now. We'll look back and be like, oh, remember that time when we couldn't do any of this shit?
That was weird. That time when we doubted everything?
When we doubted everything, we were super fucking judgmental, and like, no matter what.
Attached.
We were so attached to our egos and our things and our possessions and like our this and that, and like, you're in this box and you're in this box, and that's the only way you're going to be cool, like, and that's like, yeah, I'm that's the part that makes me excited. Like, even though it's such a, tumultuous, like, experience to kind of go through, like, if that's the way you want to perceive it, like, it feels heavy going through it, but it makes you also like, hell yeah, everybody wake up, because I know at the end of that waking up period, actually there's no end to it, it just continuously happens, but towards that goal, right, there's this place that we could all get to that won't be as heavy, that won't feel this great divide that we've been feeling and are bringing our awareness to, that it's here, right? It won't have all of these, like, the ups and downs won't feel as judgmental. It won't feel as withdrawn. is a good word.
I think too, like that brings me back to that egoic thought process of trying, not egoic thought process, but that desire, right, to read people that's based in the egoic mind.
Yeah.
And it's like the ego is almost saying, well, there's that beautiful secret garden over there, but I can make one too. Like, let me reinvent the wheel. And like all it takes is stepping out of the way, ego.
Yeah.
You've already got it. You don't need to recreate it. It's been done. It's there. We have access to it. There's no secret key. There's no, gate code other than just being willing.
And what's even more interesting is like this constant thought process of, oh, I'm going to totally go into this. Okay. So, you know how like there are those that want to say, they can call it an ego death, or they call it, there's other words for it that I'm just not coming up with that other people might phrase it as, right? I believe that, and this is just my belief, but I believe that we have these human body mechanisms that are in place to protect us. But we have historically trained it and raised it and practiced it. Practiced? That's not a word. Practice it.
Practiced.
Oh God.
English.
English. To behave in a certain way, and it's become the more dominant feature of our existence.
And to play on that, we have been taught to be limited.
On top of that, yeah, it's like a cake. It's like a cake of cluster F. It's a cluster F cake, layer upon layer. It's like an onion. You got to peel it all off. Thanks, Shrek. So, but no, I'm just thinking that, like, I don't necessarily believe that you need to remove your ego 100%, because there are some areas of that is protecting your physical form. So, I
it's
hope,
not to say that ego is bad. It's not good. It's not bad. It just is.
right. You got to learn how to work with it and tell it who the actual boss is, right? Like, like who gets to make the decisions around here? So I love that, because I played with that when I was going through, I think, this is going to be a little personal, but I told you about how when I was going through the healing from my surgery, I couldn't use the bathroom, and it was driving me crazy. And some of the things that I had started practicing during that healing process was that I was in control of this body, that the spiritual side of me had a much bigger say in this body, in this physical form, than what I thought, right? So I was like, okay, we're just going to try this because I'm desperate, right? Like, I mean, this is what we do as humans. We wait until like the moment of you can't let go anymore. You have to try this shit because I've reached the point of no return. So this is when I'm going to wait to actually put this implement this whole process, right? We're so cute. So, but I was desperate, I was like, oh, we're going to try it. Like, what's it going to hurt? Like, nothing else is working. I might as well give it a go, right? So like, I'd be like, hey, body, I got you. I control you. You do not control me. We are going to work in an opposite direction. I'm going to focus all of my efforts on how I'm going to get everything in me to move, and I'm going to visualize, and you're going to do it because you don't have a choice, right? Because I'm telling you to. And that's how it's going to work. But I'm going to do this from a place of kindness and love and compassion because I love this body, and this is my vessel, and this is how I'm going to operate it. Okay? So I want you to just start from, and I'm not going to go into all that because that's kind of gross, but it worked. I went literally immediately, going through that process and navigating through little pipes. But like, but it freaking worked. And I was like,
Yeah.
and it was another like aha moment. And it's like one of these little things that happens when we're doing all of this stuff is we have these, oh my gosh, that worked. And then ego steps in, the little she devil in me, right? That says, hey girl, are you sure that was it? We're going to question that. It could have just been a coincidence. Your body might have just decided to go ahead and do this. You didn't really tell it to do anything. And then it's up to us to say, oh yeah, I'm going to do it again. So, which is exactly what I did, because at the time I was in my own little self-doubt circle. So, oh my God, I did this. Oh shit. Did I really do that? Are you sure I did that? Is this really happening? Maybe not. Oh shit, I just did it again. Okay, maybe there's some validity to all this, right? Like,
on a slightly I don't want to say grander scale, but on another instance, when I had my foot surgery in 2018, afterwards, my healing stagnated and my bones would not keep connecting. They wouldn't keep growing together and solidifying. And I ended up practicing visualization and had some growth improvement for the first time in like 3 months. Now, it wasn't enough. I still ended up using the bone stimulator, but that it was really cool to see factually on an x-ray the changes from 1 month to the next when I was doing the visualizations. I thought that was pretty solid evidence for me, at least.
Oh, dude, that blew me away when you told me about that. I was like, yes, I knew it. See, that was another moment where I was like, yes, I knew it. It works.
Now, don't get me wrong. There's some practice to go. There's some work to go.
Well, and I think that's also like
diddling in it, Yeah.
Okay, so, and I think that's kind of one of the important parts that we have to like come to that realization, right? Like,
we got to diddle.
Then we got to diddle. But like that we have to come to that realization that sometimes it takes the tools that we were given, the tools that we do have to assist us, even though there is also a part of us, energetically speaking, frequency speaking, spiritually speaking, right, that works alongside with the physical. We did take on a physical form, right? I mean, form didn't just poof out of nowhere. It was birthed. So, and then we came in and took control over it, operating it. So there is an aspect of us.
I'm having an aversion to saying the words controlling your body, right? Like,
yeah.
The words controlling, like it's a collaboration. It's a collaborative effort.
Well, dude, I have control issues. You know that.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, like using the visualizations, using the positive talk, like using that pep talk coaching aspect, it's like working as a team towards a goal that you have together, and you are supporting your body and encouraging it.
Oh, 100%.
So I tend to fall towards the collaborative effort.
And I love that about you, because that does checkmate me a little bit. But I used control definitely in a much more like, what's the word?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Like, but I am the kind of person that sometimes I have to whip myself into shape, right? Like sometimes I need to be a bit more like, yo girl, control your shit, right? Like you got this. And that's my way of pep talking, right? But it needs to be in a loving...
That was a pep talk. That was a pep talk. Girl, you got this.
You got this.
Girl, you better do this or I'm going to whoop your ass.
I'm going to whoop your own ass.
Like, yeah.
What does that feel like? Anyway, so...
You can try right now.
I'm not going to. I'm good.
But
Totally
we'll pause this recording.
mute and pause and turn video off. Okay, thanks. So I don't know. I think that we have all these beautiful abilities within ourselves that we're just unlocking, that we're just stepping into a bit in a much grander scale on a humanity front, right?
And I think some people, it's going to hit them in the face, right? It's
It was
just
like
going
a
to,
full-on shock. Yeah.
yeah.
What?
Like, what the heck is going on? I have no idea. I did not feel that I approve this. But then there's other people that are going to be searching and like, I need this. And both are, that's attached.
Yeah.
And you're like searching for it and trying to make it happen rather than just being open to receiving it.
Yeah.
And opening the door and walking into the secret garden.
I'm telling you that whole visual, right? That like double French door, right? It's just like, this is some, what? But that entire thing, it makes me like, I was sitting there like when we were talking and we were talking about this, and I was getting that visual, and it was like, you're stepping towards or trying to step through or already seeing what's on the other side. And a lot of people are going through that, right?
Sorry, I just imagined Stargate.
Hell yeah. I'm a sci-fi fan to the day I
Loved
die.
that show.
Bring it on, right?
I'm ready to rewatch that.
Dude, why can't we bring these shows back? Like, you got to bring all these other shows back. You can't bring that one back. Bring that one back. Revamp that.
Yeah,
you can
make
do
a
like
new movie.
I mean,
How many Stargates can there be? Come on, it's a galaxy. I mean, it's a universe.
It's unlimited. You have unlimited potential.
Millions of galaxies. Billions.
Millions.
Oh, we're a hoot today.
Oh my gosh.
At least I haven't broken out into Michael Jackson again.
Dude, do it. Do it.
Oh, tribute to Dad. Beat it! If you're still with us, thank you. Apologize for your eardrums.
I want to just make sure that we might want to elaborate on this whole, like, when we got started, we have been talking probably for like at least 20 minutes, maybe longer. And we started really getting into it. And we were just like, dang it, record.
Yeah, just a regular meeting. We weren't ready for a recording today.
Yeah, we don't normally record on this day. Normally we're doing like regular meeting stuff. So, but yeah, it was pretty cool because, we were talking about allowing space in our conversations.
Yeah, holding space for others, using that as a support mechanism to support other people. So giving space, holding space for others to process, and getting comfortable with silence so that you're giving them, that's holding the space for them. This was brought on today. I felt like I had to download in the car that when we come from an egoic mind space, or connection, right? We're kind of in that I know all.
I know everything.
Yeah. I find that I tend to try to finish a person's sentence and let them know how they're feeling, right? When they're trying to describe what they're feeling, I start putting out words like I'm a freaking thesaurus or something. And what I see that causing, and when I am that person, I feel that it causes a disconnect. It feels unsupportive. It feels like that person is not listening. B, you're being rushed. C, there's a lack of connection. And if you're wrong, they have to stop you and re explain again. And so it feels unsupportive or less supportive. Um, they're not feeling connected to you in that way. And you're not really being connected to them. You're connected to yourself and how you are trying to interpret them. And so when you're trying to read somebody, you're not doing anybody a favor, because if you just give them space to let you know, then you will have your answer without misreading and causing more of a disconnect. And when we hold space for people, pregnant pause. When we hold space for people, it allows them to process thoughts and feelings and emotions, putting them into words and verbalizing those words. So they are starting the processing process to start to heal, to start to understand, to start to look at what doesn't feel right. And by allowing that space, many times a person can start to come up with their own answers, what they feel that they need to do to improve the situation. And another thing is, when we're verbalizing those things, that is a release of energy. We're not holding stuff inside of us. We're not letting it just fester. We're releasing it and speaking it and being like, oh, I'm done with that. So it's a part of a healing process that you are allowing and supporting that person with by giving them space to do so. And in another breath, for that person that's working through those things and verbalizing their thoughts and emotions, I said that you can start to see some answers or some opportunities for change, for growth, for setting boundaries, for a different aspect that you could, or a different perception of the situation. And that can open up the person to reach within themselves for the answers. Because remember, we're all connected, right? The collective consciousness, we're all connected. So we're connected to all things, including our guides, all the time. So those answers can be found within when we're willing to hold space to receive them. And same thing for the person trying to support, somebody with whatever they're dealing with. That's what we were chatting about today.
And I love what you're saying there, because it's allowing me time, and I'm almost willing to bet that anybody that is listening to this could appreciate that while somebody else is speaking, while you're engaged in a conversation, or while somebody is trying to speak with you and have a conversation and get something off their mind and process those emotions and thoughts and things of that nature, and you're allowing that space, you're also allowing yourself to make determinations within yourself on either blocking your own energy, receiving that energy, allowing yourself a moment to think about how to have an interaction with the emotional states that are currently going on, right? So even though it might feel like, because we do this all the time, where I know I do this. I'm at fault of this. I do it with my poor husband quite a bit. I'm sure I've done it with you, Carrie. I want to be that quick-witted, I got to come back for this. I got to come back for this. I'm going to check mark on what you just said. And hold on, before you even move to the next sentence, let me jump in and try to rebuttal that. Let me change your mind on how you feel, or fix it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But when we do that, we're not allowing space for ourselves, and we're not allowing space for the person that you're interacting with. And so we have talked about that on a previous episode, and that's a great one to take a listen to. But that also means that when you're having those types of interactions, when you're not, you're having to kind of take a look at some of the things that are popping up in your head in the moments of them talking, right? So even while you were talking, I was giving you space to clear your thoughts, to, say what you wanted to say. And there are struggled moments within myself where I wanted to jump in and say something, even if you were pausing just for a second. I'm like, ooh, gotta get in, right? Like, let me not be comfortable with that silence for just a second. I'm gonna fill it for you, right? Which, P.S., does not validate the person that you were just talking to. Matter of fact, it might piss them off. It might put your conversation on a completely different course than you were even planning to go.
I'll tell you, a lot of times it puts my walls up. I go into hermit mode, and I'm like, okay, well, if I can't speak my mind,
right,
why try?
Absolutely, it does. And so you just kind of weigh your options on, get that piece of information out right then and there, or wait until that person is actually done having that conversation. And by the time they're done talking and you have allowed them to say what needs to be said, releasing that thoughts and emotions, you might actually have found out that something completely different was going on, and your perception might have changed on how that conversation's going or what's being said to you. Because you've had time to even absorb it and take on that information. I know in, my relationship, I always feel like I don't need as much time to think about things. So I'm like, no, I want an answer right now. Right? My spouse is not like that. Sometimes he wants to wait till he's like, I heard everything you said. Okay, it took a while for us to get to the point where we say, I heard everything you said. So we've worked on that particular piece of communication between the two of us, right? Where there's confirmation of, I've heard everything you said. I need to think about all of that. I need to absorb it. And every single time, the very next day, sometimes it's shorter than that, but the very next day, he'll come in and he'll be like, okay, so I thought about those things. This is what I took away from it. This is what I'd like to do. Let's work together, blah, 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 right? And you're like, well, oh shit, I've literally just been mad like the entire night thinking you didn't hear anything I just said, but you did hear it all. You absorbed it all. And wow, that was actually really good, right? But I have to work on that internally, on let go of controlling when he will absorb that information, or when the other person I'm talking to will be able to take and bring it all in, like it's not always on my clock, because it is an exchange between two separate individuals, that we do have a connection to source. We do have a connection to each other. We are all part of the collective consciousness, but sometimes it takes others a little bit longer to tap into that than it does the person that's sitting in there in that chair listening to it. So,
and it's I think for me, because I'm very much like Steven, where I like to mull over it, and a lot of times what I notice in me is something will feel just off, right? And John will come to me with a question, be like, this is what I want to do. Cool. And I'm like, I don't know.
Oh, the decision making for you.
And
that's
I'm
the
like,
best. You love it.
I'm like, I'm going to think about it and I'll get back to you. I do the same thing. Like, I don't feel ready to make a full decision to say if I'm okay with that or not yet. And it can be hard to test that patience. There's your favorite word, patience.
Oh my gosh.
And I think that, again, one of the most important things about this is getting comfortable with silence, because that can be really deafening. Silence can be overwhelming. And for people that haven't had a lot of practice with calming their mind, watching their thoughts float by like a cloud, not getting attached to them, not feeling like they have to take an action on them, that's really hard. And that's still something that I struggle with, that I still have to practice, especially when I get out of my meditative practice on a regular basis. That's really hard to sit there for 5 minutes without fidgeting, without looking at my phone, without going down a rabbit hole in my head. Like, it is hard. And for a lot of people, it can be uncomfortable because they didn't grow up with that being a part of their home life. Like, constantly having the TV on, constantly having video games on, having to run back and forth through different extracurricular activities. You never just sit still and be. Have you ever thought that just being is doing? Being is an action, just like resting is an action. It may not be active, but you're doing something.
That was good. It may not be active, but it is an action. Oh, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest culprit, phones. I'm telling you what.
Freaking notifications, man.
Notifications. I actually went through a period of going. There's a setting in the iPhone. I saw it on TikTok. Thank you, iPhone hack TikTok. I saw a TikTok where somebody was showing you how to go in and you take those little red little markies. I don't know what they're called. Whatever, the little notification marks that you get on your folders on your phone. And it says 1. Like, so if you have like a text message, it's got a little 1 in the corner. If there's 2, it's got a 2 in the corner. And all of a sudden it just like lights up like a Christmas tree on your phone and you have to action it to get rid of the little red marks, right? So I actually just went in, and unless it's a text message or a phone call, I've turned them all off. I was like, nope, this is way too much. All of a sudden my phone started ruling me. So it just took over. And then I'm surprised most people don't have some kind of like a tendonitis in your hands or whatever you call it. They
do.
Like,
You're just like not privy to that information.
It's just like a permanent cup.
Well, haven't you ever
like a Lego
heard of
hand?
The horn?
Yeah.
The horn that's growing on the back of people's heads?
No, I haven't heard of that.
Skull?
What?
Yeah, because they're doing this, staring
the
at the phone.
Oh gosh.
And the skull, what it's doing to be protective is it's growing a little, you can't see it, but it's growing like a little horn at the base of the skull to protect your spine.
Absolutely mortified right now. What?
From doing this, from looking down at your phone.
Put your phones down, people.
Put your head up. Look up. Look around you. There's a lot of magical shit going on.
Oh my God, I'm going to end up back at a doctor's office having an x-ray. Is there a tail on my neck? Tell me. Is there a tail on my neck? Matter of fact, don't tell me. Just give me a look. I'm going to walk out.
We'll just call you horny.
No. There's certain things in life that I kind of wish people wouldn't tell me,
Well, that's how you get why you get off your phone.
Oh my gosh.
But something I did notice too is when I'm like trying to read people, when I'm doing that action, when I'm trying to guess where people are at before letting them tell me, I feel myself like leaning forward, like ready to be like, Jeopardy button. You're
It's a whack-a-mole.
Dang. I got it. I got the answer. What is frustrated? Like, and when I'm actually like in that heart-centered space, when I'm connected to allowing other people to work through their shit and release it. Not even that's not even the purpose in my head. It's just listening, right? We're just being there to listen, to receive what they're feeling, not to take it on, but to receive their information so that you can provide support. I actually feel myself in this more like relaxed leaning back position, just kind of like you see like a therapist, right? Leaning back in the chair, just like, yeah,
It's a campfire conversation.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's a campfire conversation when you're completely in a great, space in your own self and just, maybe try that, right? Like I'm going to visualize that. Look,
Don't go
despite,
setting fires inside your house.
man, please don't set fires inside your house. That's not cool. So like, we do not encourage or endorse that. So, like have a visualization in your head, and like, have a nice little campfire in your head around
Or a candle.
candle safely, and be in that relaxed like conversation space, because when you are tapping into that love frequency, when you are expressing love for somebody else while listening to them, that conversation is a lot more entertaining and fun and enjoyable to be in, right? And I'm not
Maybe
saying
not
that
entertaining. Yeah.
okay, sorry about the
Watching
entertaining.
you cry
Right,
is
no, it's not
entertaining.
entertaining.
Yeah.
So, but you know what I mean? Like you're more like, oh my gosh, yeah, tell me I want to feel that. I want to understand what
part
you're
of
going
it.
through. You're a part of it, right? You're engaged, not entertaining. You're engaged. So I use my words sometimes,
Word schmerds.
So, I make up my own words. Or I make up my own definitions to words that already exist, kind of like everybody else has done lately.
You still question if words exist.
I don't even. Yeah.
I've practiced a word.
I'm pretty sure that's not real.
But I also just like realize that when I'm in that egoic state, in that leaning forward state, I feel like I am trying to rush the person.
Oh.
And not consciously, like, not always.
And whether or not someone's going to say it to you, I'm sure they're feeling that, because there's no emotion that you are producing within yourself that somebody else isn't getting a little bit of a sense of, right?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, especially if they're close in proximity to you, they're going to feel that even faster. So, there is an exchange happening there in those fields, and so no matter if you're saying it or not, or even if you're not trying to be rushed, you're going to get that sense of, am I being rushed?
Am I being rushed? Am I being listened to? Do
Yeah.
they even really care?
Oh, that's when all the questions start to pop in, right? The self-doubting questions. Oh, in a conversation. That's the worst.
It's like when you're already in that headspace of needing to talk to somebody, you're already drained. And so being cut off, it's exhausting. Like all I can sit here and feel right now is just wanting to just go, ugh. Like why even try? Like you're making it harder for me, and I'm already struggling to put the energy forth to tell you. Like just allow me to tell you. And that's all I want to do for people too. And so this is something that I've been, called to work on to get better at, because I, started interrupting people, and I do this too where I'm less than therapeutic.
Well, I think you're very therapeutic. I mean, you're definitely my own personal therapy. So you're welcome.
I love you.
I love you. I love you. I think that we have a really good opportunity to kind of do some more diving into the battle of the conversations and allowing silence and allowing that space for talking. We talk a lot about space, and I think that's something that I am trying to grow on, and I don't always have
Here's
the
a
best
challenge.
Ooh, let's do a challenge.
Yeah. For the next week, well, like, what do you want? Like, is this like a silence challenge? Like when you're having a conversation, it's just you, right? And you recognize that that person is pausing. Is it practicing holding space? Like you count to 10 slowly, not
Ooh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay. I got it.
Okay. Okay.
So let's do a challenge, but you have to, whoever you're talking to, you have to tell them. So this will also give you an opportunity of speaking your truth. So it's a multi-part challenge, okay? You have to tell them, I have decided to accept a challenge for myself that will require me to listen in full to our conversations without interrupting you. Which means that if you pause, I am going to take measures within myself to give you space to either continue talking or let me know that you've completed, right? So as long as you can kind of try to communicate that to who you're talking to, because otherwise, what if that person's not used to you doing that and you've never done it, and all of a sudden they're just like, they've come into the conversation fully prepared that you're going to interrupt them on a multiple situation, right? You're going to keep going back and forth with them. They're coming into the conversation. They know that that's what you do. So if you just sit there and you're staring at them when they pause, they might just be like, did A, hell freeze over? Did B, are you still there? so you might want to tell them.
Maybe asking them, hey, I am challenging myself this week to practice not interrupting people when they're talking. If I interrupt you, please call me out on it.
Yes.
Okay.
In a nice, compassionate way, because we love each other.
Hey, bitch, I wasn't done. Sorry.
I fucking told you. So, yeah. So let's say, I would say 5 to 10 seconds, right? It's a kind of a quick seconds though, because 10 seconds can get kind of long. We know that by editing. But like, just a 5 to 10 second rule, somewhere in between there, depending on the comfortability of your conversation, right? You'll know the person that you're engaged with. I mean, if it's a complete stranger, maybe just standing there, just staring at them is probably a little awkward.
Well,
but
it's not that awkward. Like you're not just staring at them like blank-eyed. You're
right.
You're still engaging, right? You're like nodding and let's do.
I was about to say maybe use
physical expressions of receiving information, right? Instead of just.
I was gonna say maybe use some facial expressions because I can't. I've seen that, like there are some people I know that they don't have a whole lot of facial expressions when they're communicating, and so, they're kind of just have
glazed over.
Right. And so you're kind of like,
we'll call it muted.
Right. P.S. There is nothing wrong with you people. You are beautiful in every part of way.
We're just trying to understand too.
Right.
How to communicate this.
But if you
this
pause,
is our practice for ourselves.
Right. If you do the pause exercise and you are one of those individuals and you know who you are, like,
please not.
Please not. Give some form of, yep. Got all that.
Receiving. Okay. Yeah. That is an important aspect of communicating, right? Acknowledging that you've received information.
Yeah.
And
I say yep or right.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And if you've listened to any of our previous episodes, you're going to know that. Right. And my right changes. Right?
Right. Know, right?
Right.
Oh, all right. Well, this was a great little sesh, guys.
I know, right? Now I can't unhear it.
Just practicing that silent or pregnant pause.
Oh my gosh.
Cricket. Okay. It doesn't work well for podcasts anyways.
I know, right?
So this week's challenge is we are going to practice reducing our instances of interrupting people and practicing listening and receiving information. So again, when we want to have those conversations, make sure that we tell people, hey, I'm trying not to interrupt people. Can you call me out? Let me know if I interrupt you. Accountability.
Determination to be better within yourself. I love it. And I love you guys. So thank you.
Oh, this is awesome. Oh, thank you guys so much for being here and enjoy the rest of your day.
Yes. And of course, don't forget, love first
Love last.
and love always. Bye, everybody.
Hey, listener, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us in this moment. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and we look forward to our next connection.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow to stay notified of new content from Love Always Self. If you have any questions or topics you'd like for us to discuss, please hit us up on any of our social media platforms linked in the show notes below.
I'm Karista,
And I'm Shira.
and until next time, remember to love first
Love last
and love always. Love Always Self podcast is meant for entertainment purposes only. We do not make any warranties about the completeness, reliability, and accuracy of the information presented in this podcast. Any action you take upon the information on this podcast is strictly done so at your own risk, and we will not be held liable for any losses and damages in connection with the use of our podcast. Any and all medical concerns should be addressed with a licensed healthcare provider, as well as any questions that may be derived from information discussed in this podcast.